please, a big round of applause, Keren El-Azhari.
Hi, hello. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for inviting me to beautiful Stockholm. It was even sunny yesterday, which is, it's a nice change, isn't it? My name is Keren El-Azhari. I came out here from Tel Aviv, Israel, where I live and research, and I'd like to offer you a glimpse to the future of cybersecurity, but more importantly, I'd like to offer you an opportunity to hack that future, to use the friendly hacker's immune system to make yourself more resilient. And I'll mention a lot of the things that Miko has spoke about this morning. And, you know, I think it's funny, but I am in agreement with Miko on many, many of these aspects, except for one key critical point. Miko, you said this is the future of cybersecurity. I think it's already the past. So many of the problems that we have to face right now are problems that were created in the past 5 years, 10 years, or even in the previous century. So as we move forward to the future, and as we make everything smarter, we're bringing all of our vulnerabilities, all of our problems, all of our software and hardware design failures from the 20th century into that future. So that would be our backpack that we have to bring with us to the future, and we're going to have to deal with those problems. I have a few ideas of what we can do. So I hope you guys are ready, you've had your coffee, you've woken up, and you're ready to take this time travel leap into that future. In the past few years, we've learned it doesn't matter what industry you are in. Maybe you're a Hollywood studio, you will get hacked. Maybe you're a dating company, you will get hacked. Maybe you're a politician running for the most powerful position on the planet, the White House, you will get hacked. Somewhere, somehow, there is a breach, and somebody would get to you. This is our very pessimistic, dismal reality. You will get hacked. Somebody will get to you. It doesn't matter who you are, what you do, what your business is, whether you are in the dating industry or something else. So I have a suggestion to try and make our future a little bit more optimistic. Perhaps it's time to accept the fact that our future is not about secrets anymore. We really don't have a lot of secrets to keep. Not from the big brother, not from our toaster that knows exactly how we like our breakfast, not from Facebook or WhatsApp. And as you heard from the President of the United States himself, looking at the data from 1 billion usernames and passwords that were leaked in the past few years on this very handy website called Have I Been Owned? I recommend you check it out if you haven't yet. It was created by Trey Ford, who is a Microsoft security MVP and a friendly hacker to boot. He put the information from all of these very big, high-profile data dumps, from Ashley Madison, from Mail.ru, from Bitcoin forums, all of these various big hacks that happened in the past few years, Adobe.com. Unfortunately, the most prominent form of recycling in 2016 is password recycling. I'm sure you also recycle your passwords as well. We all do. That's the reality. Until we get something more smart and more adaptable for the future, like biometrics, to control everything that we do, we're going to use passwords, and many of them have been used by us before. So perhaps our future is not about secrets or passwords, and it's not about who we met on Ashley Madison. Our future and our present and cybersecurity right now is about protecting our way of life, our modern society that we live in, that runs on digital technology, the democracy that we believe in and trust that runs on digital technology and can be manipulated by a different country. Our trust can be broken by hacks. So this is what we have to focus our attention and our energies on, protecting our future, not secrets or mailing lists or email passwords. I don't think there is a lot of good that we can do there. We have to move on. Now, in the interest of radical transparency, because I'm claiming that there are no more secrets left, here's my most embarrassing picture. Until somebody hacks me and finds more embarrassing pictures, of course. But let me make that work easy for you. This is a picture of me on the steps of the elementary school in Tel Aviv And yes, I came to school that day for the yearly photo. It will be a little bit tricky for you to find me in this picture, though, because here's the reality. You ready? That's me. True story. So I was so much of a nerd as a kid that even the boys playing Dungeons and Dragons wouldn't let me join their team. I spent most of my time with gadgets. I had my state-of-the-art 93 Walkman with me everywhere I went. I went mostly to the library or to the robotics lab, which is very awesome that back home in Tel Aviv, 20 years ago, my elementary school had a robotics lab. I understand that's very privileged. I don't think every school has that, but it's very cool. And it gave me the chance to experiment and manipulate technology. And gadgets were my best friends. And I decided that this is the future I want for myself. And I was looking for people that share a vision of that future. I'm very inspired by science fiction and by comic books, and I was looking for heroes to show me the way. And I was very lucky. In 1995, I found my hero that showed me the way, the path to the future. You might know her, Angelina Jolie. She's an amazing Hollywood actress and a professor in London School of Economics, in case you didn't know. But in 1995, she portrayed Acid Burn, the fierce young hacker in the film Hackers. How many of you have seen this movie, by the way? A bunch of you? Okay, very cool. If you feel like a blast to the past, check out my Twitter profile. Somewhere on it, there is a link to a YouTube video of a fan version that I made of the film Hackers with Dan Kaminsky in the lead role. So it's worth looking up that video file. It's somewhere in the internet. I was so deeply inspired by this movie that I decided this is going to be my reality, that I would like to be a friendly, fierce hacker, just like Acid Burn. And I feel very happy to say, I think, this very romantic idea that kids have, that you see a movie or you read a comic book and you're like, yes, I'm going to be just like that person. For me, it pretty much worked out. So if you have an idea like that, or if you read a comic book or a movie and you see an inspiration, follow your dreams. And I've been following the real-world hackers who have been following their dreams ever since. Especially in the past few years, I've been incredibly inspired by hacker heroes, real-world hacker heroes, not in the movies or comic books. Heroes like Barnaby Jack from New Zealand. You may have heard about Barnaby Jack because of his work researching the security of medical devices. Barnaby demonstrated he was able to remotely hack an embedded insulin pump, a device like this. These insulin pumps vastly improve the lives of diabetic patients. And they've been doing that for a few years. This is not the future. They've been doing this 3, 4, 5, 6 years now. And there are hundreds of thousands of diabetic patients that trust the microcomputer embedded in their body to release the correct amount of insulin in just the right time. Barnaby was able to show that using an unauthenticated signal with a powerful radio antenna, he can remotely tell that insulin pump to dump all of the remaining reservoir of insulin directly into a patient's bloodstream. This could be potentially lethal. Of course, the company that makes this medical technology doesn't want anybody talking about it. But thanks to the work of Barnaby Jack and many other medical device security researchers and hackers, they are now realizing just what Miko said earlier today. A medical device company is now a software company, and they have to think about cybersecurity. And there are friendly hackers that are trying to help them do it, sometimes by demonstrating the threat so that a solution happens. This is what Barnaby Jack said, which I took to heart. Sometimes hackers operating on the edges and the fringes of society are finding the problems in our world and are forcing us to fix these problems. That's why I like to think about hackers as the immune system. We need an immune system because our future is only becoming more complex. Wouldn't it be naive to expect government agencies or even security technology companies to figure it all out? We need thousands and hundreds of thousands of engaged individuals to help defend this future. I'm happy to say I'm not the only crazy person who thinks hackers can be a part of the solution. 2 years ago, I presented this idea on the international TED stage. Today, almost 2 million people have seen this idea and have shared it, which gives me some hope, because I get emails every morning from hackers in Korea and Latin America and Africa and Europe and the United States. And what these friendly hackers say is that they want to be a part of the solution, that they are reaching out, that they are developing the medicine, if you will. If you only listen to them and give them a hand, you might be able to work with these friendly hackers yourselves. We are all in this together. And if I wanted to show you what our digital universe looks like, maybe it would look like an organism or an ecosystem. In fact, this is a visualization of the World Wide Web, but it's from 10 years ago. 10 years ago, the web that we surf was, maybe one organism or one ecosystem that we live in. But our future is much more like the Milky Way galaxy. It's complex and it's always expanding as we're bringing new things online. We need pioneers to explore this new universe that is always expanding. It's dark corners and, esoteric planets. And guess what? Again, this is where hackers, and yes, sometimes criminals, are the early adopters, the pioneers, the trailblazers, the people that try out new technology in a clever, creative way that we didn't think about. And they do it before the rest of us realize the potential. Whether it's Bitcoin or other new technologies, hackers were there first. It's the native playground. So we should follow in their footsteps. If you'd like a useful tool to do that, I can suggest a map, well, kind of a map, to explore that future. And I'll show it to you in a moment. We're hearing about hackers looking into what they can do remotely to cars. This is the Jeep Chrysler Cherokee 2015 model, which Chris and Charlie took off the road with a cellular attack. If you want to know what the future of cybersecurity will look like in 5 years, look at what hackers have been doing in the past 2 years alone. Medical devices, cars, autonomous vehicles. Charlie and Chris are now working on the security of Uber's self-driving car. Maybe some of us drive something nicer than an Uber or a Jeep to the office. $80 million super yacht? Anyone? It's just another vehicle, or almost like Miko said, a data center, but in the sea. And using a very simple GPS spoofing attack, a team from the University of Austin in Texas was able to take this $80 million super yacht away from its traditional course, tricking the human captain into believing everything is okay. This is not the future. They've already did this 2-3 years ago. Before they showed it on a yacht, they tried it out on something a little bit smaller, a drone, which, once again, using the same technique, the same methodology, a GPS spoofing attack, they were able to crash land the drone in the desert outside of Austin. We all trust GPS blindly. It's a network of satellites, and we believe that the signal our devices, our cars, our phones gets from this network of satellites to be the absolute truth, sometimes more than what we see with our eyes. But that's not really the state of things, is it? And these GPS satellites are just one aspect of our connected future. Now, I want to talk about drone hacking because it's become a hobby for some people. Some of you may know Sami from MySpace. Sami is the guy who created the MySpace virus a few years ago and added everybody on MySpace to be his friend, after which he got a visit from the law enforcement agency in the United States, and he served his time. But he got very interested in doing things which matter to the future, not social networks like MySpace, but hacking cars and finding vulnerabilities in the remote control mechanisms for cars, and hacking drones. But what Sami did is very cool. He created something called Skyjack, which is a drone that hacks other drones. It's worth repeating. He created a drone that can hack into your neighbor's drones, for example. And you can do it too, because he put the code on GitHub, he has a YouTube channel, and he explains exactly the parts that are needed to create your own drone hacking drone. Using Raspberry Pi, Aircrack NG, and a Wi-Fi antenna, his drone manipulates the control protocol of other drones and takes them for a ride. Now, this is very cool, and it's kind of fun and funny. And now we're like, In 5 years, drones, commercial drones, delivery drones, military drones, they're going to be everywhere. And the idea is that we trust the safety of these drones to computerized and automated control mechanisms. But who's really calling the shots? Who's really controlling them? I think that's a question worth thinking about. This is our future. RFID, GPS, connected toasters, satellites, microwave systems. But guess what? This future still runs on our vulnerable past. Because as we make everything smarter and more connected, we're going to use the same operating system, the same computing languages, the same software environments of the past century. And they just happen to have lots of vulnerabilities and problems with them. And there is no way to opt out of these technologies. It doesn't matter if you're an airline or medical device company. You cannot opt out of this future. We cannot reinvent our technologies. Even the Mars Curiosity rover, an autonomous robot that shoots laser and is running around on another planet, sending us pictures on Twitter. Even this future-forward technology runs on the most popular language in the galaxy. And the most popular language in the galaxy is not Klingon. Unfortunately for us, it is Java. Java, JavaScript, the Java computing environment, now runs on billions of devices. And as much as we don't like it, as much as Steve Jobs didn't like it, it's sticking around. So we better figure out this future, and we better do it fast. And once again, I think it would be naive of us to expect Sun Microsystems or Oracle to figure out all of the problems in Java by themselves. They can't do it. This is where hackers come into the picture. And this is a very useful tool. I don't know if you've already made yourself familiar with it. It's called Shodan, like the black belt in karate. It's a search engine for connected devices. With this search engine, you can find the power stations, the microwaves, the cars, the wind turbines, the webcams that have been made available online. And you know the truth, webcams can be hacked, and they're easy to be hacked remotely. A team of security researchers from an Israeli company figured this out when they used Shodan, and they found a network of infected webcams, which were part of a botnet, in their own backyard. But interestingly enough, these webcams were not spying on them. No, they were used in denial-of-service attacks on other servers around the world, because these webcams have high broadband, they're always on, they run on an embedded operating system which has known vulnerabilities, and in many, many cases, they have the default username, admin, and password combination. You know this to be true. If you use Shodan, you'll find hundreds of webcams like this, perhaps even in your home, neighborhood, or office. This is our present, not our future. And if you want to know what the criminals are going to do, you have to follow them, follow the money. So this is what a criminal looks like. He wears a nice suit, like Miko. You'll notice, no, you didn't do anything wrong. You're very elegant. You're good, you're good. No crimes against the fashion police today. But you'll notice that criminals don't wear hoodies and hide in the basements. They don't wear anonymous masks. This is Vladimir Chechin, a very successful Estonian businessman and cybercriminal. And this is a picture that he took not on his social media, Twitter, or anything like that. He was profiled for a business magazine about his successful company, Rove Digital. Rove Digital had 3 super successful business lines. Malicious bulletproof hosting for all of your illegal hosting needs. Stress testing and denial of service. And perhaps the most successful business line of all, advertising. But a very specific type of advertising. Advertising that made millions and millions of dollars for Vladimir and his friends. Maybe you've heard about it because he created the virus known as GhostClick or DNS changer. A virus that infected more than 4 million computers around the world including thousands of computers at NASA Research Park. Now, this is where the feds got involved, the FBI, and they managed to track down Vladimir, and he is now awaiting trial in the United States. But DNS Changer is still out there. And what DNS Changer does is something very simple but very clever, replacing DNS settings so that Vladimir and his advertising friends can push banners and pop-ups on people's computers. This is malvertising, a combination of malware and advertising. And malvertising Trojans and adware is also part of our future. It's not a sexy part of our future like car hacking, but it's the reality of our future. It's where the money is. Vladimir is behind bars, but his Trojan is still making money. And there is a new way to make money, which I'm sure you've heard about, ransomware. This is the Presbyterian Hollywood Hospital in Beverly Hills. It's where a lot of celebrities go for their medical care. A lot of high net worth individuals go there for their medical care. And it was disrupted recently by an attack of ransomware, encrypting their files and demanding payment. So the criminals behind ransomware don't care about the secrets of the Hollywood stars. All they care about is that this hospital cares enough about their business to pay up, or the data gets it. Now, Miko said earlier that you don't think hackers will try to remotely kill a vehicle, for example. But what if they took over your vehicle and they say, okay, you have 10 minutes to pay us the ransom, or we'll have to crash the car? That could be an interesting money-making scheme. But why think small? Why not take over the entire public transportation system? I think ransomware at the moment is just in its infancy. Encrypting files in a hospital is one example, because when this hospital shuts down, lives are at risk. If their computers are not running, if they're not providing people with the care they need, then there is actual life loss on the line. And of course they will pay the ransom. So this is only the beginning of the type of killer apps we're going to see by ransomware. And I think on that we're not in agreement, Miko. There is a little bit of a problem we'll have to face with this new type of crime. And yes, it's true. These criminals, these malicious attackers rely on computers, but they rely on the hundreds and thousands of security decisions that we make every day. Most of the times, these are bad security decisions. Run the file, use the same password, click the link. But they also run on bugs, the secret supervillains of our future. And some of these bugs are the same vulnerabilities we've had for years. Wouldn't it be naive to expect the companies that make the product with all the bugs find everything themselves? Wouldn't it be naive to expect a future where we don't have Heartbleed, a crippling vulnerability in a fundamental encryption technology we all use, OpenSSL, a bug which existed for years but nobody knew about, Bash Shell Shock, Poodle? There's so many of these examples coming to light only now. I don't know what you do in your business, but I'm sure you use SSL or Unix, and that these bugs reflect and change the way you'll have to prepare for the future. Who discovered them first? Government agencies, cyber criminals, or friendly hackers that made the discovery known to everybody? This is why I'm a very big believer in something called bug bounty programs. And bug bounty programs as a way to create collaboration between technology companies, government agencies, and individual hackers has been the focus of my research work in the past year. And I'm seeing incredible value and incredible impact coming from these programs. Maybe you've already heard about some of the more famous bug bounty programs like Google's, Facebook, Microsoft, Samsung's bug bounty program for their smart television. All of the big technology giants are now harnessing the power that friendly hackers can provide by creating this method for hackers to report a vulnerability and get recognized for their efforts. In fact, in some places in the world, as you can see from the Google data for the 2014 program, hackers are reporting from all over the world. In some of these places, like Africa and Asia and Latin America, the security researchers that are reporting bugs to Google are people that are getting paid for security research work legitimately for the first time in their lives. So this is great news for Google, but it also means some good news for us. It means that these bug bounty programs are creating the future security professionals. They're creating a new ecosystem in places where an industry did not exist before. And I'm very excited about that. Of course, innovative companies want to use the power of hackers as well. This is a Tesla Model S, the flagship car. And Tesla brought their car to DEF CON, the annual convention of hackers in Las Vegas. And they invited people to actively work with them. Tesla has one of the most successful bug bounty and hacker research collaboration programs. But it's not very surprising that an innovative company knows how to work with hackers. To me, it's a lot more surprising when an organization like the Pentagon, the United States Defense Department, actively comes out and says, we want to work with hackers because we can't figure everything out by ourselves. This is the type of collaboration we'll need in our future as well. Of course, the collaboration doesn't always work smoothly. So this is a tweet released by a hacker known as Seadragon last year. He was on a United Airlines flight, and he tweeted that it's a Boeing 737, and perhaps he's going to try connecting from the in-flight entertainment system, that's the Box IFE device, to the satellite communications, or to the EICAS messages, that's the navigation signal that planes share with each other, or perhaps he should turn on the oxygen masks. Smiley face at the end. So was Seadragon serious about his idea of hacking the plane mid-flight, or was it just a joke on Twitter? This was the question the federal agents asked him when they came to meet him in Chicago. For his defense, Chris Roberts, Seadragon, has been researching the safety of airlines and passenger carrier airlines for a while now. And he's been speaking about it everywhere, hacker conventions and everybody that would listen. And he's never hurt anyone, at least not that I know of. But that didn't really interest United Airlines, and they kicked him off his flight. But they did create a bug bounty program for the website. So the collaboration doesn't always run smoothly, and sometimes it's very scary. But there is some hope ahead. Last summer, I actually invited Chris to come to Tel Aviv, the Tel Aviv University Cyber Week, which is a 5,000 people event that Tel Aviv University runs, to share his side of the story. On our stage, Chris said officially that he did not make the plane move in the middle of the flight. But he can't say anything else because it's still under investigation. I'm curious to see what our future will look like when airlines have to be software companies and cybersecurity companies. If you're also curious, you're welcome to come to Tel Aviv next summer. It's a totally free conference, so the invitation is free, and the weather is guaranteed to be sunny or your money back. Did I mention it's free? Okay. And we also run security B-sides in Israel, hosted by Tel Aviv University. So save the dates for June 2017. And I'm happy to invite all of you to speak and participate there. But here's the bottom line I have for you this morning, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, hackers look funny. Sometimes our hair is blue or red, and we might seem very menacing and threatening. But these friendly hackers that go out to DEF CON and stand on stage and present their research and demonstrate how they can hack a car or an insulin pump or an airplane, I actually think these scary people are our future. And I invite you to think like hackers yourselves and reach out to the hackers in your community to learn about protecting your future. I think our lives might actually depend on it. And that's why in the past few years, I've also been very heavily involved with a movement of friendly hackers called I Am the Cavalry, which focuses the security research on things that matter to human lives, not email passwords or, Facebook friends. We're focusing on medical device security, smart homes, cars, and national infrastructure security. And you can find out more online on iamthecavalry.org. One last thing before I'm done, I also recommend you check out something called Zero Patch, which is a new initiative to help security researchers that find vulnerability create a micro patch, So create the solution to the vulnerability they discovered and upload it to a network sharing security patches. I think it's really cool. I've been experimenting with it myself recently. It's pretty awesome. So you can actually stop active zero-day vulnerabilities in Adobe, for example, using this product, this service. It's free. But I understand you're still not convinced. That's okay. Why should you make an effort to think like a hacker? Why should you contribute your findings to a bug bounty program or upload a patch or direct your effort on things that matter to human lives? You are just going to protect your own company, your own organization, make sure your firewall is okay, and that's it. Well, I have news for you, ladies and gentlemen. Our future, our present is connected. Cybersecurity impacts everyone. Nobody stands alone. It's your industry, it's your partners, it's your customers, whether you're a user, a consumer, a network defender, a university professor. We're all in this together. There are no brave soldiers standing at the front to protect us all. I guess even the NSA is a little bit too busy trying to protect themselves from the North Koreans or from the shadow brokers. They're not going to be our hope. We are going to have to defend each other. We're all in this together on the front lines. So you have to care. Our future depends on it. I hope you're ready to take the red pill and wake up. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Keren El-Azhari.
Thank you.
Thank you.